I'll tell you what, Sean Couturier is facing his mortality in Philadelphia right now. Could he be on the trade block? I kid. But healthy scratched for the first time in his career. Lifer with the Flyers. Torts obviously having a real torts-assance in Philadelphia. They're in playoff position, although they got the Capitals nipping at their heels in the Metropolitan. But yesterday, John Tortorella scratches Sean Couturier. Flyers go out and win anyway. A nice little victory for them. And I'll tell you what, a lot of discourse, a lot of hubbub. How do you feel about the Flyers 34 days after naming this man their captain, scratching Sean Couturier?
Yeah, so like the Tortorella thing, like we can't be surprised, right? We know that Torts doesn't play favorites. Sean Couturier has not been playing well. I don't think that we can be all that surprised because Torts has proven time and time again, he'll scratch anybody. He loves to scratch anybody. He'll do it he'll do like the goofy meme, like I'll fucking do it again just to show you that he can. And like we always talk about Torts, that might be part of the reason that we always talk about Torts getting the most out of his group. The big thing we always say with John Tortorella, he gets the most out of his group, regardless of how much talent is there. And I think part of it is he doesn't play favorites and he holds everyone accountable. And the bigger thing to me that bothered me was you can't scratch your captain and not expect to get questions about it after the fact and be all pissy about it, especially when it happened 34 days after you named this guy captain. To go into the post-game press conference and be like curmudgeon-y Torts and be like, don't fucking ask me about that. That's pretty shitty, I think.
All right, so I'll say Couturier, 1 point in his last 9 games, 0 goals, 1 assist. In that Boston game on Saturday, which was a loss, played a season-low 11 minutes and 10 seconds. His ice time had been plummeting and plummeting and plummeting. He'd not been playing well. Clearly, there's something going on there. Torts wants to get more out of him, so he scratches him, which I think is not super-duper playoff team behavior with your captain, and even, like, not just with your captain, but, like, with your Selke winner. I feel like he's got a lot of clout there, but if anyone's going to do it, Torts is going to do it. You mentioned him in the press conference being extra pissy. Here he is after the game.
John, can you tell us your decision?
Not answering your question. Next question.
John, was there any effect, do you think, with pulling Sean Couturier from the lineup? What were you looking for from the team by making that move?
As I told you, I'm putting the players out on the ice to win a particular game, and these were the 20 that we decided to go with.
He seemed a little,
I'm not talking on Sean. I'm not debating with you. I'm not conversing with you. It's between Sean and I. So just talk to me about the game, guys.
When Sean was out, how do you think the team responded, especially?
It has nothing to do with Sean being out. You asking me about the team?
How did they respond in your eyes?
Our team played good tonight.
2 things. 1, that first question off the top, of course, was that Anthony Sanfilippo guy. So that had nothing to do with Sean Couturier. Yeah, that was just him saying, like, hey, fuck off, stop asking me. Like, he begins all of his fucking press conferences with, you, go ahead. No, not answering your question. Fuck off.
Has he been doing that the entire fucking season since the Kevin Hayes thing?
I think he still is, which is just very Curb Your Enthusiasm-y, that it's just baked into all of his press conferences now. That like this Anthony Sanfilippo guy, poor guy, has become like Mocha Joe, where he's now just a rival of John Tortorella, which, folks, if you don't know, he was the Kevin Hayes' fingerprints is all over this guy with the whole Cutter Gauthier thing.
My conspiracy theory is that Torts will just like throw one of these grenades into the NHL landscape every once in a while just to get all eyes on him, just so that he can then dunk on Anthony Sanfilippo or whatever his name is and just remind the entire world that he fucking hates this guy's guts.
I gotta say, Flyers, you've been giving us a lot this year.
They have.
Sean and I had a conversation at a Bruins game recently about like which teams do we talk about the least, and we were kicking around some names. We weren't planning on doing a lot of Flyers this year. I would say we weren't planning on them being a playoff team. Sure, maybe every now and then there would be a Torts thing, but there has been constant juice from the Flyers. A lot of it has been Torts stuff, but they've been better than expected. Obviously, there's been some bad reason that we've talked about the Flyers with the Carter Hart situation and everything, but by and large, the Flyers have been entertaining as hell on and off the ice. So shout out them. The other thing is I loved the "are you asking me about the team?" Really, really condescending. Really condescending. And that's how you should be when you're scratching your captain that nobody else in the world would scratch instead of explaining yourself. Talk to people like they're idiots.
Yeah, I think that this is the Torts experience, right? It's him doing this kind of stuff and people falling in love with him one week and then the next week ripping him to shreds and questioning his tactics and stuff like that. And you could see Couturier before the game, like after practice or whatever, very, very frustrated. And I think we have a clip of that, pretty short clip, but you can tell that he's wearing the frustration.
Talked yesterday how trying to fight off frustration is this kind of testing your frustration and patience?
Definitely. Like I said, I control what I can control. It is what it is. We move on.
Have you spoken with Tortorella about this yet or no?
Somewhat, but doesn't matter honestly what I think. Gotta leave my ego aside, I guess, and hopefully the team finds a way to get a win here tonight, and I can get back into it soon.
This just solidifies to me that Torts has to explain himself at least a little bit, because obviously there's a hierarchy with players and coaches, but in today's NHL, there's a lot of player-friendly coaches who want to make sure that their players' heads are right and everything like that, and I'm sure that Torts wants his players' heads to be right, but this is a moment where Torts is putting down his stakes and everything and planting his flag and saying, I'm in charge. This captain is not in charge. This is not a big group decision. Even you have I was reading the captain announcement from the Flyers. It was all Danny Briere. So now I've got questions to ask there. But when Torts is clearly going against the grain and upsetting the player that is really his chief lieutenant to communicate his message and dissipate that throughout the room, when he's scratching that guy, there needs to be more than, I'm not talking about Sean.
Yeah, and I mean this is like the Torts experience. Like I said, it's guys falling out of favor and frustrating and pissing off guys where he doesn't necessarily need to. Brandon Dubinsky weighed in. I think we have that tweet. He just seemed pretty pissed. Yeah, this is Dubinsky saying, Torts, your taxes are getting old. Instead of scratching and embarrassing your captain, one of your best players, how about you try and tell him, I'm giving you 20 minutes tomorrow night, no matter what, with the power play and PK, and just go play free and have fun and fucking get it done. So, like, that's the kind of stuff that I would be cautious about, but also, like, when you look at the numbers, Coots hasn't been playing well. So
no, he hasn't. And Dubinsky there is going too far in the opposite direction. And right. I'm always the big, like, especially with the young player. Couturier isn't really a young player, but with young players, I'm always like, hey, just tell them it's gonna be okay. You're getting this ice time no matter what. Kind of the Rod Brindamore with Seth Jarvis kind of thing of like, hey, I need you to take face-offs. So you know what? You're going to go out there and you're going to take a face-off. And just like, that's what it's going to be. It's not going to be what happens if I mess up. I'm giving you face-offs, that sort of thing. I like that mentality, but I think when a player is struggling as much as Sean Couturier is, the idea of John Tortorella going up to him and going so far in the opposite direction of discipline is just unrealistic. So I think that Dubinsky, who played for Tortorella in Columbus, probably has a little bit of an axe to grind, and he's making an extreme case or a dramatic example of like why what Torts is doing is wrong. I think that what Torts is doing is wrong, but I don't think that he should be going up to Sean Couturier saying like, hey buddy, 20 minutes a night, this, and this. That's not how especially John Tortorella operates.
I don't even think that what Torts is doing is wrong. I just think the way that he's handling it and his response in the aftermath is wrong and annoying and just, kind of shitty. Especially nobody fucking cares about the media. Nobody's going to shed a tear for the media or whatever, but like, don't treat the media like they're below you or they're annoying you because they asked about the captain that was named 34 days ago being a healthy scratch. And I felt like when they named Couturier the captain, that it was very weird timing. Like, number one, I thought if you had asked me before that, who's the captain of the Philadelphia Flyers, I probably would have said Sean Couturier. I wouldn't have known for sure, but I would have guessed that he was the captain already. And then just like a weird time in the season to announce it, and then he goes cold a month later. He's a healthy scratch. Just the whole thing has been weirdly timed.
So you said that you don't necessarily disagree with what Torts is doing. I do. You can't scratch your captain if you're in a playoff race. I think it just opens such a big
when he has 1 point in 9 games, like 3 in his last 14.
He sucks ass right now. I definitely get that. So drop him down to the third line, do what you need to do. Also trust that Sean Couturier is going to find his way out of it. Sean Couturier is an awesome player. Selke winner, like, can contribute even when he's not being productive offensively. That's another element of it. Like, are you really a better team if you take Sean Couturier out of your lineup? I know that the most Torts tactic would be to yank him out of the lineup, make him think about what he's done, but you are, like it or not, and I feel like the Flyers' stance on this is not, you are a playoff team. Like, you are better than you thought you were going to be. If you play your cards right, you're going to make the playoffs, and you're going to get a lot of these young guys experience, which is a very, very positive thing. You can create a culture there. I think that scratching your captain on March 19th introduces too many questions that will linger for another month and a half until you're eliminated in the first round. I think it could have been avoided. I would not have scratched Sean Couturier.
Chat's pointing out that he already dropped him down the lineup, and that's why he wasn't playing many minutes. Like, he was 10, 11 minutes per day per night.
11,
playing in the bottom 6. So, like, he had already been dropped down. I think that if you're going to scratch your captain, it has to be a last ditch effort, worst case scenario. And it does seem like Torts gave him some runway before that happened. It's not like he immediately jumped to doing this. And, like, unless your captain is sorry to disrespect Kyle Oposo, but, like, unless your captain is like Kyle Oposo, you shouldn't be scratching your captain. But it does seem like Torts gave him a lot of effort to play his way out of a healthy scratch, and he just didn't do it.
Can't scratch your captain. It's not good behavior. The other thing is,
don't name him captain then.
Oh, I don't think the Torts wanted to.
You might be right there. John Tortorella is a really good coach, and I am not, and neither is anybody saying John Tortorella must be stopped. I think that this is something that's going to be forgotten about in like a week, 2 weeks. It's not that big of a deal. It's hurt some feelings right now. It's not the end of the world. I think Couturier is going to be fine. Torts is going to be fine. Everybody's going to be fine, and we'll forget about it. So,
also, we were dangerously close through getting getting through a full season where, like, Torts was a good guy the whole time. And
I did say that.
That was
like,
never going to happen.
I said, like, what, a week or two ago, that this is Torts' highest likability. You know how they do, like, presidential, what do they call it?
Approval ratings?
Approval ratings, yeah. This is Torts' highest approval rating in years. He
had to do something.
And now, there it goes.
We all silly like the mayor.